Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name of Chris Vick, and welcome back to the Game Lounge. Before I start this episode, let me just start off by saying that I literally recorded like 12 minutes of gameplay before this happened. And I wind up reporting it to PlayStation because I was pissed off about the fact that I really said some good contented stuff. And now I gotta run everything back, which I don't mind. I love y'all to death. If y'all watch it, I definitely will do it. I appreciate you. It's just the fact that like you didn't even save the gameplay, like the 12 minutes, that could have just been stopped and saved. Like, I don't know if I got to put that setting on, but just as a heads up, make sure you guys do that. If you're also streaming or recording your content, make sure that you find a way to back it up, or if you can find another external way to prevent that from happening, or just be careful in general, because once you record, it's gone after that. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. For tonight's game, we have Dead Cells. And just to give you guys a gist, because I already ran through the first 12 fucking minutes, so I know how the game worked. Dead Cells is basically about an alchemic experiment gone wrong, where there's like this living tissue thing that winds up becoming coherent and awake. This is how I know. Look, as y'all can see, I already got stuff or whatever down here. This is just proof. I just want to let y'all know. I'm sorry, but I had to do it again. I'm not leaving on an empty stomach. Not tonight, no. So, what was I getting ready to say? Yeah, so this guy's named Dead Cells. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but he winds up being an alchemic experiment that went wrong to where he now is fully sentient and aware of his surroundings and stuff like that. But he winds up being confused about where he's at because the world is ever changing and supposedly he's on this cursed island. So now, in order for him to survive, he has to wind up fighting against the enemies, taking their items, and upgrading himself along the way to, you know, I guess get the answers of clarity and shit. But when I wind up doing the last episode that wound up getting messed up just now, I had started up the really good topic about how when I was in the mood to play this game, it was because I was thinking about the old school games, like from the Super Nintendo era and stuff like that. So that's what tonight's episode was about, old school games. So shout out to anybody who's playing games and they started playing like in the 2015s or like, you know, in the 10s or whatever. Whoever wound up playing games after like 2010, if you were watching, I appreciate you. However, you guys have gotten a much better setup than that's hilarious. I opened this door though. Anyway, so you guys have wound up growing up with a way more enhanced setup than we wind up having. Like I said in the, I'm gonna keep saying that. I gotta stop saying that. In the last recording that I did, I wound up talking about how the Super Nintendo was one of my favorite consoles, and it wind up having some extremely memorable games to where I still think about those games to this day. I would still play those games to this day. Fuck you, knife hand guy. I would definitely play those games till the end of time. I had named a few titles. I was talking about Yoshi's Island, which is my favorite. Donkey Kong, Final Fight, Street Fighter, Mario games. Didn't really play Zelda, to be honest. But I had F-Zero, I had Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat. I had just had a large list of games when it came to the Super Nintendo. And at the time, people were like playing PS1 and PS2. I'm still playing Super Nintendo games. And I was a big fan of it. I feel like it helped give me the, you know, the comfort that I wanted as a kid. Like the Super Nintendo just did a really good job, in my opinion, of okay. The Super Nintendo wound up doing a really good job at adhering to my imagination. It allowed me to feel like I wasn't really worried about what was going to happen next in the game, except for the fact that I wanted to beat it. Like I used to sit in my room. And fellas, if there's gamers that's listening to me, that's the only reason why y'all watch the channel. Otherwise, we're friends. But if you wind up growing up in the projects or just as a kid, you were a boy, you was in your room over the weekend. I don't know if anybody else did it, but bro, I used to stay in my room all weekend. My Super Nintendo didn't turn off. I had the curtains low. I had Cheez-Its and motherfucking Mountain Dew. And bro, I was in there trying to beat Donkey Kong Country. I was in there trying to beat Final Fight. I was in there trying to race on the hardest map on F-Zero. I was doing all of that shit. My favorite was to play Donkey Kong Country and Yoshi's Island because those games just have really good level design, and I feel like they make me want to repeat them over. They just make me want to just like, you know, a game is good when you can go back and play it a third or fourth or fifth time. You know how a game is good when you can do that. So those games definitely did that for me. And also, I was giving a shout out to the Game Boy Advance collections. Game Boy Advance was basically a handheld Super Nintendo. It allowed you to play damn near the same titles, and it damn near allowed you to be able to have the same amount of fucking fun. The Game Boy Advance was wicked. They had some of the Super Nintendo titles from Super Nintendo to come over to the Game Boy Advance, like the Super Mario games, like Yoshi's Island and Super Mario World and stuff. And everybody really liked Super Mario World back then. Like, they had a whole... I think that was the most bought game for the system. Mind you, the Super Nintendos were sold with Super Mario World to them. There's nobody fucking home? No, I'm hungry. What do you mean I ain't got no face to eat with? Bitch, that's not the point. Wow. So, the Game Boy Advance was a really good part of my childhood, too. And the Super Nintendo titles being added on there, it was like my childhood times, too, because I played the Super Nintendo first. Then I was able to see my games be able to be put on handheld devices. Like, the kids from nowadays, they only know about the fact that, like, you guys have been born into tablets, into smartphones, into meta glasses, and into heavily deep social. Yeah, you guys were born into technology with touchscreens and stuff. Bro, when we were growing up, we had dial-up, we had modems, we had AOL. It was just a different time frame. So the fact that they have what we wish we did have is amazing. So I will never take it from them. But the old school games just got a certain feel to them. I love the old school games. Also, shout out to Mega Man. I ain't talking about that. Mega Man X was straight fire. Nobody was going to talk about that. Whoa. Anyway, so the old school games had wind up having a certain type of feel to them. They were a lot more difficult than the games of now, because when we were growing up, the games that we had of then, they didn't really have too much of a guidance level. Like, you just had to follow the levels. They were simple, but that didn't make them easy. Like, when I was playing Final Fight, which is this game about a guy that becomes a mayor of a city, this mayor gets his daughter kidnapped. Wait, there we go. We can do the Bush thing, right? I don't even have that yet. I gotta make it through the first run. I remember. Anyway. So, playing Super Nintendo or whatever, I wind up trying to beat a game called Final Fight. Long story short, like I said, the guy's a mayor of a bad city. Bad city wants to do what they want to do. The bad guys wind up taking his daughter. He goes on a fuck you up spree, because I'll be damned if you're gonna take my daughter and think you're gonna win. I'm gonna fuck you up like that. What is this shaking shit, shiny? Bang. Oh, sweet. This is what I was just talking about. Okay, I heard you. So now I can make vines grow out of the ground by tickling them. Yes, I just said tickle. So yeah, the game was difficult because of the fact that when you were playing the game, there were, of course, levels where things get more intense and stuff like that. So when you're playing an old school game like that, you got to wind up facing off against a bunch of people, and it's not too much instruction for you. Like, I feel like the games of now obviously give you more of a detail because of the fact that they're a lot more. Hold on, yeah. I'm about to say, I'm afraid to stretch it past 12 minutes because that's where the episode messed up. So just trying to make sure, if anything. Just make sure I get everything out what I'm saying. So like I said, the old school games, they had a... Oh, shit, I didn't even see that. Good placement. Good fucking placement. We want somebody to get hurt there. Got it. Let's place spikes there. Right, because they'll initially jump to avoid the other thing. But, man, they won't see those spikes there. You're fucking right, I didn't. Let me go up here. Ah! I see, bro. Where is he at? Oh, what? Here we go. No. Fuck you. Wait. Bing, bing, bing. No, bomb. Get out of there. Good. So yeah, old school games, definitely fire. I love them. I love the fact that they're bringing them back out. A lot of old school titles deserve to be remastered or remade, given to the hands of another developer so that they can... That sounds like a bar. Given to the hands of another developer. Man, those the games should be given to the hands of another developer. That shit is crazy. So they should be given to the hands of another developer, of course, yes. But when they do that, that's the thing about remastering old school games too. Don't change too much of what's not broken. Some people don't like when certain games are remastered because they're afraid of the fact that the choices of what they choose to keep because of what they prefer over what the actual fans prefer might happen. Like if you choose to make a Wolverine game, but it might not have the voice of Hugh Jackman, that's a voice that people are looking forward to. So you're going to wind up getting a little bit of fallback because of how well that person did that role. So now you're in a balance of, oh, well, we're going to wind up making it good anyway. Like the game might be fire, don't get me wrong, but some people might actually not play it just because it doesn't have the voice of a specific person. And it's like, now you did all that for what? Like, what's that? Food. Fucking right, I want a kebab. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Uh-huh. Next. Oh, fuck you. Yeah, I'm running through this shit. So yeah, certain games go about getting their gameplay changed up. Sometimes the gameplay is made stale, is made not the same as the original, which will cause us to feel some type of way. Because the way that I saw the game, if it wind up being remastered, it would be better. Like a really good job that a really good developer team that's making games at a really good pace is Dotemu. The Dotemu. They are taking games and making them look fucking phenomenal. They made Streets of Rage 2, not Streets of Rage 2, my stupid ass, that's just Sega. They made Streets of Rage 4. They wind up making Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is basically the arcade version and the NE and the Super Nintendo versions of the Nintendo of the Turtles games. And then they just made Shinobi, the fucking ninja. Bro, that shit looks like a comic book. Like, who was the artist on those games? They're on crack and stay on it. Stay right on the neck of that level of gameplay. That shit looks great. I was talking to my bro about it. Shout out to Hefe, definitely. And we was talking about how the concept of the games allow, you know, the game of those, well, the concept of how the game worked out and how it looks, a lot of people would, you know, be more entitled to get it. But at the same time, don't change up what already happened. Like when we wound up having a conversation, we was also asking about like, oh, do they go about changing the, did they change the way that he grapples? Are you able to do that double jump a little easier? This is for people who know what Shinobi is. But in Shinobi, it was a Sega game. You was able to be a ninja and stuff, and you had a certain double jump that you had at the time. And if you didn't time it right, you just looked stupid as fuck. But I was curious if they fixed that. They did a lot more than fix that. He's got like a Shinobi execution to where if an enemy gets low on health, you can just do this insta-kill move. This shit is fire. And that's what I be saying. Allow games to be given to different developers so that not only can your game get remastered, but then the game itself can be re-risen again. Like, you're gonna wind up making money off the game. People are gonna buy that game. Whether you put it out on another console itself and just left the recipe to the original state. But if you remaster it because of the fact that some people like to see a little bit more of a twist on a game. Like when Sonic Mania was made by Christian Whitehead, they didn't really change the formula of Sonic. They still kept the same concept. He still ran. When he got to a certain speed, his legs turned into that circle. There's the way that the pedals move, the enemies, the little animals that come out of the containment thing when you break it. They didn't change much. They kept the recipe to what it was because nobody ever complained about how Sonic looked in the old school days. They wanted him to be a little bit faster, the levels to be a little bit more intricate, and probably, hold on, a statue of the statue of the King of the Island. Oh, how could he see anything with that helmet on? He should be like me, headless. I know for sure I can see everything. So like I said, they wind up having a simple recipe and it cooked, it wound up being fire. Like it was everything. Now I'm trying to make sure I get back on track with the right thing. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna head out this way because I lost my train of thought. I was so invested in what I was saying. Fuck. What was I saying? Damn. I really lost my train of thought. I'll jog it again. Oh no, I just jogged in there. It goes jogging. Yes, man. Oh, sure. Give me 1 second, guys. So back to what I was saying, because I had to get Calista some water. Either way, Dotemu is doing a killer job at remastering the games and keeping the recipes the way that they're supposed to. Oh, well. Look who it, I guess he said look who it is. What do I give you? Oh yeah, he's the collector, so he has to wind up doing stuff and then I get stuff for it, and yada yada. Recycling, transform the object on the ground. Oh sweet. Hell yeah. Then it allows me to be able to buy more stuff. Yeah, so Dotemu definitely gets my appraisal. And I appreciate them for just being there for when it came to the old school games. Because a lot of beat 'em up games weren't getting a lot of love. And I'm like, yo, the beat 'em up games are probably some of the best games that's out there. Because it allows you to just have this freedom of just fucking up people for days. Like, they also did River City Girls too. Shout out to that game. I ran through that game. Ran through it. It was a really good game and the graphics were just perfect. Everything was nice and subtle. You're welcome, Glizza. The gameplay was nice and subtle. It was just straight fire. So the old school games definitely do have a certain special spot in my heart. Just having to try and get the game cartridge to fit into the Super Nintendo the right way, because there's certain game cartridges. Like, what y'all know about cartridges back in the days when I was young and I'm not a kid anymore? I feel about it. But before this cuts off again, I'm going to wind up saying thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Game Lounge, though. If you got a favorite old school game, I'm going to be more intuitive and talk to you guys. What was I getting ready to say? Yeah, so if you guys have a favorite old school game that you enjoy when you was playing when you was young, when you was a child, or you like playing now, you still play it to this day, comment below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And any game ideas you might have, please send them to us. We would definitely love to try them out. Like I said, Mortal Kombat 1 is coming soon. Arkham Knight is coming soon. I got some other content coming soon. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, game it till you sleep. Headless!